Welcome to W News. The United Nations Secretary-General, António Guterres, is expected to visit Odesa, Ukraine's main port city, on Friday, in the midst of a war that has highlighted the limits of his organization's authority when one of its most powerful members initiates a war. Before we continue, please do not forget to like, comment and subscribe to our channel for more news. Please tell us on the comments section where you are listening from so that we can give you a shout out. Today's shout-out goes to Mark Johnson from Michigan. Mr. Guterres will see the development of one of the United Nations' most concrete recent achievements, grain shipments leaving Ukraine for global markets, a day after meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan in Lviv, western Ukraine. The shipments are the result of a fragile agreement brokered by the United Nations and Turkey to restore grain flow from Ukraine, one of the world's breadbaskets, and facilitate Russian grain and fertilizer exports, which Moscow claims have been hampered by international banking and shipping sanctions. The months-long shortage of grain exacerbated the worldwide food crisis, fueled famine in Africa, and contributed to rising grain prices. Mr. Guterres praised the agreement's efficacy on Thursday, saying it validated the UN's position as a mediator. The positive momentum on the food front is a success for diplomacy, for multilateralism, said former Portuguese Prime Minister António Guterres. However, he admitted that the unsolved issue that had brought him to Ukraine was the conflict. Mr. Guterres, as the president of a global body whose charter vows to stop the scourge of war, has repeatedly urged for a political solution to end the crisis and has volunteered to intervene, but to no avail. According to Mr. Guterres' spokesperson, Stefan Dujarric, from the start of Russia's invasion in late February until April, the UN Secretary-General was unable to reach Russian President Vladimir Putin on the phone. The United Nations is dealing with an essential issue in Ukraine, the increasingly perilous situation at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, a Russian-occupied facility that has sparked concerns of a radiation disaster and now tit-for-tat claims of preparations for an actual assault. The International Atomic Energy Agency, the United Nations nuclear watchdog, requires both parties' approval before sending inspectors into the facility. On Thursday, Mr. Guterres stated that failing to avoid harm at the facility would be suicide. Some of the most successful measures to penalize Russia have come in the form of harsh economic penalties imposed by the United States and the European Union, although they have occurred outside of the Security Council, the United Nations organization with the authority to impose sanctions. While the war has exposed the UN's limitations in resolving global conflicts,